Previously on Queen's Journey.
A lot of times we create our own narratives and we say people don't love us, but they do.
Yeah.
But we've created this narrative of how love should look for us.
Right.
And if it doesn't look the way we created it in our heads,
Yeah.
then we say, no one loves me. But that's far from the truth. And so you have to ask yourself, is what I'm saying real?
Right.
Because it's your own belief, it's your truth.
Yeah.
And you might have lied to yourself, believing that.
Helping each other.
Welcome to Queen's Journey. I am your host, Janine McBath.
Helping each other.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Guys, this is great stuff right here.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
just talking about how to relate to other people. This is just really great. Okay, I got one more question.
Okay.
In that area, how do you get the strength to say no
You know,
to people? How do you tell
say
them?
no. You know what? I used to be an English teacher.
Uh-huh.
No is a complete sentence.
Yes, it is.
It is a complete sentence. You just say no.
Yep.
So getting the strength to say no, you start by recognizing who you are.
That's real good.
When you start recognizing who you are and what you want, just one thing. If you say, you know what, gosh, I just want to stay in bed today.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to give anybody an excuse. This is what I want for me today. It's no strength in saying you're not weak.
No.
If you say no, you're not.
No, you're stronger.
You're stronger. That's how
You're stronger.
But getting the strength, being able to say it, that says to me somebody's missing a voice.
Yeah.
They don't have a voice.
Yeah.
They feel like if I say no, someone will leave me, someone will judge me, or someone will reject me. And if I say no to that person, I don't want to feel rejected because they might not talk to me.
Yeah.
They might leave me. I don't want to feel judged. Well, she's just this, she's just that, so I don't want that. And I don't want to lose anyone. And so I don't say no because I'm in fear.
Yeah.
But the Bible says, perfect love
Yes.
casts out all fear.
Yes.
You know, and there's no punishment in love. And so you're feeling like you're going to be punished by saying no.
Yes.
You're not going to be punished by saying no.
Yeah.
You know, and if you are, they're not your friends.
That's right. They're not your girls.
They're not your girls. No, they're not in your queendom.
not in that
Right?
space with
You
you.
know, no, not at all. Not at all.
And that's so hard because, you know, I think I read if you say yes to things, then you are saying no to some other things that are really, really
Yes,
important.
yes.
You know, and but like you said, it's out of rejection, that feeling of rejection. You don't want to be rejected,
Yeah.
or just want to please people.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
when you're looking for that approval, then you'll say no. I mean, you'll say yes to everything. You don't know how to say no.
No, and you'll lose yourself.
Yes, you will.
You
Yes,
don't know
will.
who you are
That's right.
because you haven't said no.
Right.
So if you want to know who you are,
Yeah.
start saying
Say
no
no.
to some things like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I don't want that to eat.
Yes.
No.
But you know what? I really do believe the pandemic has helped some people.
Oh, yes.
I do, because
Yes,
when people
I
say,
believe
oh, you want to
that.
do this, you want to do... No, but they use the pandemic.
Yep.
That is so good.
I can do that. pandemic.
Right. You know, it's cold out there.
That is so good.
That's how they begin to say
Yes,
no, because
yes.
they use
God, you help us with the pandemic.
Yes. Oh, I learned how to say no.
Yeah.
No, you know, I got to stay in today.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you know. I
Oh, that's
think
so
that-
good, Tracy. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start
so-
looking to see
yeah.
other people using that when I ask them to do something.
Right. Lady J, you know, that pandemic out there. But no, there's COVID tests. You can quarantine like I did. I quarantined before I came here.
That's right.
I sent my test over and said, see, I'm good.
I'm good.
So I don't have a reason to say no.
That's so good.
Yeah,
So good. But this is beautiful. You know, we have to learn how to say no.
Yes,
we really do. And it saves us the time and energy that we spend, that takes away from other things, our family, just ourselves,
Yes,
so that's really good. I appreciate that.
I do it. I have a calendar and I plan. If you don't make a plan, somebody will make it for you.
That's right.
And so even if my plan for Fridays is to do nothing, that's my plan. And so, can you do, no, I have plans. I don't have to tell you what my plans are, but my plans might be sitting in bed, just vegging out, reading a good book, doing nothing. I do that. I go to sleep, I wake up, I'll read, I'll go downstairs, get something to eat, go back to bed. That could be my day, and that's my self-care too.
That's good. But now we've got to get into relationships with a significant other.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. So
I like this. I like this.
This is gonna be good.
This is my lane right here.
This is your lane right here.
Yeah.
So you can own all of this right here.
Right.
So, but we have some real doozy questions right here. And the first one is, why is my husband addicted to porn and not to me?
Well, that ain't my lane right there. No, let me stop.
That's a lane.
Why is my husband addicted to porn and not to me? Yeah. The truth is this. There's a lot of reasons why. It could be they grew up and this is what they know and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's a reason behind it.
Yes.
The porn is a symptom. It's a byproduct of something else.
Right.
Past trauma, depression, and all of that other stuff. And so when they start to get into it from a technical standpoint or hormone standpoint, there's if I watch it, and it doesn't matter whether it's a male or a female, oxytocin is released. We call that the love hormone.
Wow.
That's the hormone that provides the truth, it provides empathy, it's visual. So if I'm watching something, this hormone is released. And so it attaches me to what I'm watching. And then after that, just explicit and where it is, ejaculation comes apart. And after that, what happens? This dopamine, this high feeling comes, because that's the other hormone that's released. Now I got to keep getting that high. I keep going back because I want more and more and more of it. It's like an addiction, alcohol.
Right.
It's like gambling or, shopping or eating. Those are all addictions, and those hormones are released, and it causes you to attach to it. And so your brain begins to rewire. And when you rewire your brain that way, then what ends up happening is, and we don't realize it, that other kind of problems can occur. Erectile dysfunction can occur. The reason why a lot of men don't deal with it is because who wants to deal with depression or say they're depressed?
Yeah.
And so it's like, even if you're playing PlayStation all the time, you become so fixated on it. Those hormones are released, and I got to keep doing it. I got to get to the next level. I got to get to the next level. And then with porn, after you're like, okay, I can't get that high anymore with that, you find yourself watching stuff like with women and animals having sex and all of that other stuff, because you keep trying and trying to get to that next high. And so it's not their intentions, but what ends up happening is you don't become that high for them. Those hormones are not released when it comes to you, and when it comes to that person rather, those hormones are not released. And so
how does a woman, what does she say in reference to that to him? How should she respond?
I had a client, and he said to me, my wife, knows about 29 women that I've been with and all of that other stuff. And he says, I love my wife. She doesn't know it's really actually like about 30 more of them. And he said, I can't stop. And, and she came to me, so they both came to me. And he was willing to say, okay, let me figure this out. Counseling is the only way that's going to help that. and they were able to come together. But you have to have an accountability person.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the spouse cannot be that accountability person. Sometimes, depending on your level of trust, and you're always not trusting. So you're like, okay, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Right, right.
You know, you might have to have someone else that you can trust to be that accountability person for you. But the only way that you could deal with it is you don't do it for someone else.
Right.
It's like any drug or addiction. You can't get help for the other person. Like, I'm going to do this for my wife.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you fail, you feel even more guilty.
That's right.
So
That's
you
right.
got to do it for yourself.
That's right.
It's like any other addiction.
Right.
And
right.
if you don't do it, if you're not trying to get help, then there's nothing that spouse can do. Nothing. You know, we do that. We say this for a lot of people. Oh, if they could just stop drinking, if they could stop drinking, do it for the kids, do it for the kids. You find that they're not doing it. You can't do anything about it until they say, I've hit rock bottom and I got to do something about it.
So, you know, in a situation like that, a woman could feel, you know, she's not good enough. And then now it's been transferred.
Right.
You know, so now I'm not, maybe it's me, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not thin enough, or whatever. And then she becomes the victim.
Right, right.
For that pain.
Right. And that's where she has to get educated on what is pornography, what is an addiction, what is it. The world is making it so okay.
Yeah.
Society is making it so okay.
Yes.
Like, oh, as a couple, we could sit here and we could watch this and we could do this. And it's not just men.
Yeah.
It's not just men. Because I had a female client who said, okay, I could say this, right? She was okay with her vibrator, right? And so she said, sometimes I don't want my husband. Sometimes I just want my vibrator. He could stay in the other room and stuff like that. And so she said, I just cut on the porn and I look at it and I get my vibrator and I'm good. I don't need him for all of that other stuff. And so it's not just men who become addicted to it, but it is women, and we don't realize we're rewiring our brains to not accept the person that we're with.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't want to put this off as it just men, but it is women who fall into that trap.
Because I've heard a story where, you know, and it's just really sad, just a story of a pastor who, you know, before he would have intimacy with his wife, he would watch porn, you know. That was something that he did in order to have that time. And that's so fake because it's not even his wife.
It's not real.
No.
But when they're looking at it, it's almost if they are looking, the person, the actress or the actor is looking at them. And so they're seeing that person and that is happening. So that visual, that oxytocin that is released is really causing the attachment to what they are actually seeing. And again, false. It's not real.
It's not.
But the world, the society have us live in a place that's not really real or not beneficial. No one talks about all of the harm that it's doing to the body. That's right. With all of that. No one talks about
Nobody
that.
talks about
They just
that.
say, oh, it's okay, let's do this. And now I can't tell people what to do in the bedroom and all of that other stuff because the bedroom is undefiled. You know, so if that's what your choice, but realize with your choices, there's going to be consequences, good or bad.
That's right.
I just all want mine's good.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what about, you know, where people call in to just to hear the voice?
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's another level. Now I'm not just watching it. I need to hear. So I'm just adding on. I'm stacking on. It's like I start off with marijuana, the gateway. I start off with that, and then I start drinking, and then I go to crack, or I go to cocaine, or I go to meth. I'm just wanting that extra high. It's the same thing. I could start off at the dollar store shopping. But then next thing you know, I'm in the mall or I'm online. It's just another high.
Yeah.
So I could start off playing 21 blackjack, but then next thing you know, I'm at the casino 3 times a week or whatever. It's just another high.
So you just get further and further into it.
Yes. But the issue that you had raised about what do I do because I feel rejected. I feel hurt. I feel lost. I now, quote unquote, have low self-esteem. I don't love me. And at some point, you got to realize that he or she is not doing it to personally hurt you. this is a disease.
Yeah.
It's not something that someone is really trying to say, you know what, I don't love you anymore, so this is what I'm going to do. No, it's a disease.
Yeah.
And if I had a different type of disease, would you stay with me? Would you be with me? What would you do? If I was unconscious, if I couldn't speak, if I was not mobile anymore, would you stay with me? It's a physical disease, but would you stay with me? Would you say, well, you know what? They don't love me, and sometimes they think these people are doing this on purpose. They don't realize their mind is not in a healthy place.
When I think of that, I think about, our vows, for better or for worse. It's a decision that one must make.
Yeah. Now, in those decisions, because I always say yes for better, for worse, I don't advocate or tell people to get a divorce. There's 4 A's that I talk about. Abandonment. If you've abandoned me physically, or if you've abandoned me mentally. What am I going to do? If you're physically gone, there's nothing for me to do. You could be here, but mentally gone from me.
That's right.
Adultery. Multiple, and then you're bringing home diseases, and you're bringing home that. Now we're in a whole nother lane here. Addictions is another one. So if we're looking at addictions, then we need to talk about some stuff, because you could be stealing from the home, you could be taking from the home. We're drowning over here. So when I'm talking about better for worse, I can't go to work because the car's gone now. Something like that. We're looking at all of those things, and that last A was abuse, whether it's physical, whether it's sexual, whether it's verbal or emotional. So those are the 4 A's. I say we have to sit down and we have to look at these things.
That's right.
So if it's causing that type of harm to you, you really seriously have to look at that.
That's very good.
Because then you're really not loving yourself. No relationship should be doing that to you. So I don't just blanket say, stay in it. No, we have to look at where is the harm coming from. And so that's what.
And that's good too, because we've been brought up to, again, misuse scripture when we talk about Christians. That's so good. Wow. All right, I got this next question now, because I'm a seasoned person. All right, how do you, but this is not my question. Okay, I just want you to know this is not my question.
Your question.
Not my question. Okay. But how do you remain sexual during your seasoned years and dealing with hot flashes and when the man gets cold? How do you deal with all that?
Well, first you have to look at it and say, if I'm in the season where I'm having hot flashes, you have to ask yourself, am I eating things, drinking things that are going to cause me to have a hot flash? Okay. Because we know some caffeine. Right. I have a friend who will have a glass of Stella, and I say, no, you're going to have a hot flash. Eat candy, chocolate before night. So sweets will cause it to happen. And so if you're not looking at that, because usually when you have a hot flash, you don't want to have sex. You're hot, you're sweaty, your bed wet, and all that other stuff. So you're not into it. And so the fan on, then heat on, and you just fluctuate. So you have to minimize that part of it for yourself. Be educated and say, if I know this, and I want to have sex tonight, this is what I need to do. But if he's a cold fish at this point in time, you have to ask yourself, what is going on? Because he might be in a season where he is reassessing himself. Right. He might be in a season where there's depression going on, but he's not dealing with it. He might be in a place where financially I should have been here. I should be retiring, but I'm not. I got to continue to work. So depression sets in, and so now I'm not motivated. I don't have a reason. So all of those things play a part in that, right? And so you have to look at the circumstances and deal with it. Have that communication, talk about it, and if you're in a season where you're hot, like, there's a season where women have their ups and their downs. And I remember I have this season where it's like the wind blowing. I'd be like, ooh, I'm ready. And I'm calling my husband like, what you doing? Tracy, I'm at work. But it's not. So you can be in that season where you have that peak where women are high
Yes.
and men are low. They're
Right.
like, oh, can you just hold me, hold you, you know? And so there's seasons like
Yeah.
that where they're high and
Yes.
we're low and
Right.
on all of that, and we got to come to a middle ground. And I'm like, God, you're funny, you
Right.
know? Like, why you do that to us?
Right.
You know, have
Right.
us off peak, you
Right,
know?
right.
You know,
Do this together.
yes. And so, but we have to work it out and
Yeah.
have to have that conversation so that we can do it together. And if actually having intercourse is not it, there's so many other
yes, there's so many-
ways
yes,
that you
yes.
can
Yes.
be intimate with your
Yes,
partner
yes.
by touching,
Yes.
holding, hugging.
Yes.
So that's your basic way.
Yes.
And that still brings about, when we talked about earlier, that oxytocin and that coming together and loving. So you could be that way, you know, just a rub on the back and all of that still brings that hormone to each
Yeah.
other and all of that. And then you could go to your other levels where, you know, you could get toys and bring
Yeah.
them in and
Right.
spice it up and stuff
Right.
like that, because the bedroom is not defiled,
Right,
it's not
right,
defiled, so you
right.
could do that.
Right.
And so you have to have that conversation though. And if you're afraid of your own body, because some women
Yeah.
are still
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I got to
They're
be in the
still
dark,
stuck.
you
Right.
know, cut off the lights.
Turn it off.
Don't
go off the shade.
Right.
Yeah.
Hurry up, get in the bed, you know. So there, but that means they're not comfortable with
that's
themselves.
Right. That's right.
And that means that they're not
Yeah.
even ready to communicate or have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes because when we grew up, no one really had those conversations with us.
Yeah.
Sex conversations.
Yeah.
All they told you about, oh, the birds and the bees, don't have sex, you don't want to get pregnant.
Right,
They just
right.
gave you that basic, but
Right.
not really the stuff that you need, and you're walking through life trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people figure it out so late in life, but at least they figure it out.
Yeah.
And they can have a seasoned, healthy, intimate
Yeah.
relationship with their spouse.
Yeah. And I mean, come on, fluffy girls, we're good. We do it. We're good.
Fupa,
Yeah.
stop.
We gotta all be thin.
No,
we ain't all gotta be thin. But you know what? We see on TV, again, that's the thing that gets us. You know, these girls that are just really just getting it on because they're thin and, you know, but usually those pictures of girls that ain't even married to the guy.
No.
That look like their life, their sex life is just like booming.
Boom,
And then the other ones where they're married, they just in the bed. You
Right,
know?
right.
So, you know, you ever notice that? You know, the girls are just steamy and they're just not even married. But then the married ones, they're just like in the bed, you know, got the little scarf on and all that good stuff.
Right.
But, you know, we can spice
We can spice it up. You know, I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Yeah, good.
Because I wanted my bedroom to represent two things, where we could sit and have a conversation. We could sleep, well, three things. We could sleep and have sex. I didn't want the TV to be our conversation. And so, because, you know, there's times where you could get in the bed and you're watching a show and you're talking about the show versus talking to one another. And so for that, you know, going to bed, not with a scarf on all the time. It's okay. You can get up and fix your hair in the morning. It'll be all right. You know? Don't touch my hand. You know, stop all of that. You know, you can put on some lip gloss. You can steam things up and all that other stuff. You go to bed naked. You know, it's okay. You don't have to put on the flannels or any of that other stuff,
right.
and just enjoy. I tell people, explore.
Yeah.
Explore one
Right.
another's bodies.
Right.
That brings intimacy.
yeah.
And so even for those seasoned people, it ain't too late to go exploring.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Explore.
I'm 60. I'm still exploring.
Right. Because things have changed.
That's right. Things have changed over the years.
Yes.
I know that's right. Hey.
You ain't climbed this mountain yet, so go exploring.
No.
Yes.
But you know, that's so good because we feel like after a certain amount of years, then it should, you know, we just leave ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves. We don't, you know, we don't put the candle in the room. We don't do any of that, and that's not good.
It's not. And we made everything else a priority, and we forgot about that. You know, we are sexual beings. You know, for men, if they don't have ejaculated several times out of the month, it can cause prostate cancer.
Yes.
It could cause
I
all of
read
these.
that.
It's not even if they say, oh, he just wanted. No, he needs
No,
it.
right.
There's a need because there's some things medically that can happen.
Right.
And even for women,
Right.
we need it because
yes,
there's
sir.
medical things that if we don't,
Yes.
things could happen. I'm just talking about
And it lowers blood pressure. Did you know?
Oh, girl, it's
Oh, I found that.
exercise.
Yes, sir. I found that out.
yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
all those with high blood pressure have more sex.
Go get it.
And
Get it in.
but you know,
Yes, sir.
But this is so good because we don't talk about these things, and and our marriages some of our marriages have just failed because of communication.
Yes.
And as years go on and as we all get seasoned, we need to talk about what things interest us now. They may be a little different than when we were 20 and 30 years old. When we're 60 and 70, things are a little different, maybe a little different, or how we do it.
It might be different.
Yeah, we might have different positions, maybe be totally different.
You say that.
Different position because of where we are.
Right.
So we have to talk, and we don't talk. And I think that's a necessity.
And I think that hurts us. And no, you don't compare yourselves to these young people and all of that, because they lying. They ain't telling the truth. Oh, it's an hour. No, it's not. Stop. Stop.
I love it.
You probably 15, 20 minutes like everybody else.
Right.
Don't be counting the foreplay and saying it's a whole hour. No, it's not. Because I can count the foreplay and say it's 2 hours, right? So
that's right. That's right. Because foreplay is the beginning of the
It
sex.
is. It is, and that can happen all throughout the day.
That's right. That's right.
So I say all of that to say, don't compare yourselves to anyone. Have that candid conversation and say, I'm having these hot flashes, and you're not seeming to be interested. Where are we? How can we keep this intimacy going from a sexual standpoint? It might not be intercourse, but it could be something else.
Yes. Yeah, we need to have that intimacy of just holding each other. That happens prior to all the intercourse, but that holding and that intimacy is so needed.
It is so needed, and that's where we need to start. If you've lost it, start there.
Yeah.
Just start with the touch. Start with sitting next to each other on the couch. Just start somewhere.
Oh, that's so good.
And when you do that, it'll lead to other places.
It does. That's right. I love it. I love it.
I know, ladies. This was getting really juicy. But don't worry. Don't you worry. We have a lot more to talk about. In the meantime, go ahead, rewatch the episode, or share it with another queen who might get some great insight, okay? Now, join us for the next episode. We're gonna pick right back up with this amazing conversation with Lady J and Tracy Barbie. And guess what? Go ahead and bring a friend, okay?